you're looking for.
These aren't the droids we're looking for.
He can go about his business.
Go about.
It's no hash. But
about this letter. First and foremost, they strenuously requested that I not publicize it. They did not want me to publicize this letter all over it. This is not meant to be publicly disseminated. Okay, you have no legal right to tell somebody that they can't share a letter that they received. I'm sorry you sent it. I have a right to share it. And I'm going to tell you my suspicion about why it came across as they wanted to keep this rather hush-hush.
Rob, my good friend, I'm just going to add you in. Rob, how are you, sir?
Very good. Technical problems, as always. Seems to be like something in the system, something in the electrical system. How are you, Did?
I'm good. I'm good. Don't worry. We're here. Let's just watch this to the end.
Yeah. Carry on.
Talk about our favourite subject as well. I know you do love a bit of the trans apocalypse, don't you?
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
But hush hush. But apart from asking me not to publicize it, they get into explaining to me how I am engaging in types of defamation. I'm going to show you this letter because the story behind it is even crazier. Okay. So first and foremost, they are addressing statements. The bulk of this letter is addressing statements that I made last March. You're probably wondering in your head, why would they send this letter, which was addressed on December 3rd? That part is even crazier. But aside from telling me not to publicize it, they tell me right at the top that it's really none of my business whether or not Brigitte Macron is a man or a woman. Like, she doesn't have to answer that question. Here's what it said. I'm going to read you this verbatim. It said, this disinformation campaign is almost entirely based on a negative. Mrs. Macron has not provided definitive proof that she is a woman. Therefore, she must be a man. Not only is this an inherently unreliable basis for a claim, but also, and this is in bold, Mrs. Macron does not owe you proof that she is and always has been a woman, because frankly, it is none of your business. It is arrogant, self-centered, and truly offensive to believe that you are owed evidence of another's sex, gender identity, or sexual orientation. And additionally, it is defamatory to call someone a liar when they rightfully choose not to give in to your demands. Then it says, make no mistake, there is no shame in being LGBTQ+, but your accusations go beyond that. Okay, so right at the top there, again, what I've said to you that always struck me as odd about this story is this has been going on for approximately 10 years, okay? Now, if I'm the president and I'm dealing with a 10-year issue of people saying that my wife has a penis and I could just very easily debunk this, I'm sure as hell not going to pay lawyers overseas to send legal threats and legal letters that say, oh, okay, well, we're not going to answer the question, but we are going to send you a 100-page letter. It was 100 pages. Most of it was transcript. It really was like a 33-page letter. Most of it was transcript again. But the point being is that's a lot of effort for something that can be so easily debunked. So easily debunked. And I'm not the only journalist they've done this to. Okay. They're sending out letters, civil harassment, saying that it's causing them stress, it's causing them anxiety. Wouldn't you just answer the question at a certain point? Again, going with common sense.
So let's stop sharing that. Get the Robster in. Rob, you're looking well. You lost a bit of weight.
I've been do you know what? I've been working on the boat quite a lot recently. And yeah, when I'm not working normally, when I'm working on the boat, is my audio okay? The level?
Yeah, all fine, all
cool.
fine.
When I'm working on the boat, I don't eat until 5 p.m. I have one meal a day, and that does.
Are you sure it's not Manjaro or Wegovia? I mean, I was thinking about that today. We need to do a deep dive into the names of all these weight loss drugs. Like, why are they called these ridiculous names like Manjaro and Wegovia?
Pharmakia, witchcraft. There'll be spell casting within that medical name. That's what I think.
Munjaro. I mean, to me, Munjaro sounds voodoo-like, doesn't it? Munjaro.
Yeah. It'll be some sort of weird. It'll be some sort of weird thing in Hebrew or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I watched a Sky thing the other day about these weight loss drugs, supposed weight loss drugs, and the shilling for Big Pharma. They were saying like 1.5 million people who suffer from obesity. And as I point out, like, you don't suffer from obesity if you're overweight or you're obese. It's because it's a lifestyle thing most of the time. You know, very, very few people you know, can't lose weight if you just eat properly and work hard. But I mean, what's the long-term implications of all these things?
It's always managing the symptoms, isn't it? It's just I think I took a couple of ibuprofen when I had a sore tooth a few months ago. Only when it's really when it's sore, but I don't touch any pills anymore.
No.
Essential oils, coconut oil, castor oil is amazing.
Again, nobody knows the long-term data and the long-term impacts of these things. Just, you know, it is unbelievable. Anyway, Rob, how are you? How's
Good,
life?
Busy, cold. There's already frost all over my car. There was about an hour ago. It's about minus. Well, be colder where you are. Well, not in Costa Rica. It must be.
No, it's quite mild today. It's about 22 outside today. 22.
Do you know? I heard that number again. The BBC reported on the LA fires the cost. It was a different figure on another broadcaster, American, but BBC quoted 122 billion. Why pick 122 billion? I think 22 billion black hole. 22 is quite a powerful number, so it's 27 in Gematria, I think. That's interesting.
No, I know it is. Rob, let's just jump into it because I have been said to my viewers that
it's good.
All this stuff.
It's a good presentation tonight.
No, I'm sure you have. I love the slides that you've shown me. What is going on with Greenland and Canada? Because I see a lot of people, even people who are supposed to be more deep-minded. Oh, yeah, fine. Greenland wants to become part of America. Canada, yeah, we'll just take Canada as well. And let me actually try and find. Apparently, there's an Alex Jones clip where Alex Jones has no issue with it at all. And this is the same Alex Jones that for decades was calling out the New World Order. Now again, well, let's actually let me just play this, Rob, to give you a bit of context and the then and now. Alex Jones back in 2007 dropped a documentary called Endgame, where he exposes the North American Union. So this was from 17 years ago.
Now the elite are using the same secretive program to complete the North American Union. But this time, superstate integration is on the extreme fast track. International agreements like NAFTA, GATT, and APEC were just stepping stones in the formation of the NAU. The North Americans of the United States, Mexico, and Canada told the press that they were only meeting to discuss trade. It soon leaked that a secret meeting had been held during the Security and Prosperity Trilateral Summit. The three governments had refused to release the secret agreement to the people. In September of 2006, their treasonous operation was blown wide open. From September 12th to September 14th in Banff, Canada, hundreds of elected and appointed government leaders from Canada, Mexico, and the
Again, this, you know, see me actually hear old school Alex Jones. You know, you want to talk. What I don't understand is how anybody can be exposed to the information that we're exposed and then backtrack on it. The only way you backtrack on it is if you sell out.
Totally. Where's that building? That's very interesting. All those spikes on top look like free energy.
That one, is that not? Let's hear it again.
It's weird. What if there's tunnels under the homes, and what if they burnt everything down to erase everything? There's a lot of factions battling from the higher ups through the secret societies and stuff like that, I think. And it is interesting.
Yeah, I
Even
mean,
like the
look, I
wind.
mean, there is the chance that this fire was like a genuine natural fire. I mean, that is, clearly sometimes bad stuff does happen. There are natural disasters. I mean, in California, you have a situation where there are too many people living. We've talked about the water supply, and it is an exceptionally arid part of the world, and wildfires do happen. So this, like, look, clearly it may have been started, clearly other stuff, but on this occasion, maybe it was just a natural fire.
Yeah,
But who
it's
knows?
but what I noticed with what they did in Maui as well. What they did in Maui was the wind speed. The wind takes all the
Yeah.
ash and the embers across the roads. Which could that set a house on fire? I was saying, right, how many fires do you see in your lifetime? How many burning, like how, humans don't really set their house on fire much. I've put together tonight a list, right, of all the fires from the 15th century, and it's wild. It's wild how many fires there are. The Great Fire. This starts off with the Library of Alexandria. Julius
Mm.
Caesar burned that in 48 or 53 BC, 48, I think it was. And it starts in they burn all the knowledge. This is what they do, I think, through every 100 years, every 150 years. This is what they do, I think.
Yeah, that was a big one. The Lighthouse of Alexandria. Anyway, that's a bit of a deep dive to start with. That was deliberate, wasn't it, Rob? The burning of the Lighthouse of
Yeah, it
Alexandria,
was.
because they said the knowledge that was there
Yeah,
is it's unsurpassed.
well, a lot of it would have contained Atlantean stuff, Atlantis. Most of the knowledge comes from Solon, but there is another guy. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but there is another guy that was before Solon. That his information's actually better. It's more in depth. But can you see the screen? I've shared the screen. Can you see that?
Yeah. Share it. The other one as well, of course, was the Great Fire of London, famously in 1666.
We're
The
going to
numerology behind that.
yeah, we're going to be covering that as well. And there's some really towards the end of the presentation, we will go into history a little bit, and it actually, I think I'm kind of like onto something about. I'm trying to find out where these people that wear
Can I
small
just? Did you create that graphic yourself, Rob?
No. I don't. I just copied it. Everything in this presentation. This presentation's about peace. It's about living in a free world without evil, without this small group of people that we all know about. And I think I might be onto something in regards to where they came from and when. It's quite fascinating.
Yeah, no, it's just that graphic's fantastic. And
yeah, it's good.
again,
I put it together.
yeah.
The map. I didn't make the map, but I put it all together. I put the Club of Roman as well. So yeah, but I mean,
it is a Hunger Games style society. You've got the North America, although you need Greenland would have to go to the blue, and it's as I say. I think the thing about what the reaction to taking Canada and Greenland, it is just once again the fact that people are just so muted about it. Like, people clearly just have this blind spot when it comes to Trump that you daren't say anything bad about him. Now, look, I understand our audience does have a variety of views on Trump. Some still like him. Some think, even if they don't fully like him, that he is able to achieve some good things. But to just not talk about this when it has been a plan that's been for decades and not do it's really odd. Talk to me about this map, please, Rob.
This is just a random map. Well, I was searching maps to put in the show, and this came up. This is from 1942, a post-war New World map. And the thing about it is, it's like what they're doing now. Look at Greenland. The blue's America and Canada, but Mexico and Greenland are in blue. And I thought that was interesting because it's what they're trying to do now. This creates the 10 kingdoms of the Antichrist, it looks like. This goes back to biblical scripture. This sorry, wrong way. This Club of Rome, 10 kingdoms. There was 10 kingdoms a long time ago. Even there's a guy, an expert, Gary Wayne. Do you know Gary Wayne? You'd like
No.
his stuff, actually. On YouTube, Gary Wayne, just search it. Some fantastic episodes. He's an expert in biblical scripture, the Dead Sea Scrolls, also the Nephilim, all sorts of stuff. And I heard him talking about there used to be 10 kingdoms with 10 Nephilim kings. And they used to ride, it's pretty fantastical, but they used to ride on like hybrid beasts and stuff like that. But it's pretty wild. But it seems to be what they're doing now. As soon as I heard the 10 kingdoms thing, I was like, wow. And I've noticed if you go on YouTube and search for 10 kingdoms, Antichrist, there's a few videos, there's no videos, there's only a few, and they've all been posted in the last few days. So I think more people will be talking about this. Anyway, we'll go into the show. That is from the Club of Rome. And I've also put the United Nations logo and the Roman Empire logo, and you can see the similarity.
Just again, a bit of a background about the Club of Rome, in case anyone doesn't know a huge amount. We probably need to do a much bigger deep dive into the Club of Rome, founded, they say, in 1968. International group of people from arts, academia, civil society, problems of humankind, to try and solve it, to try and bring the limits to growth. Is very eugenics based as well. The Club of Rome is comprised of scientists, economics, businessmen, high civil servants, heads of state. Future of humankind is determined once and for all. Blah, 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 blah. Notable honorary members: Princess Beatrix of the Netherlands, Gorbachev, Juan Carlos I of Spain, Manmohan Singh, etc. as well. Georgia Maloney was, I think, involved with the Club of Rome as well.
Did you watch the video I sent you? Is it Sylvia something, the co-president? And she's talking about.
No, I didn't watch it in full, Rob.
God,
thanks to Jason for the support, by the way.
No,
tell me a bit about it.
I'm just on the Club. I'm just on the Club of Rome's website, and I'm just looking at events. They haven't really got any events. Well, they have later on, but anyway, yeah, they're very interesting, and the clues in the name, like the Club of Rome, the Roman Empire. They just went underground, but we'll go into the what was that? There we go. So we're going to go back into the 10. I've got a few different subjects in this presentation, so we're going to go back into that in a little bit. We're just going to go through the fires and stuff as well first. This is Elon Musk. It's an AI generated image. I don't like AI generated images, but this, I think I've put it on your show once before about Elon. The book on the right is a page from Werner von Braun's book, and he mentions Elon going to Mars and stuff.
That's right. What does he say? He talks about an Elon going to Mars or something. That's incredible, isn't it?
In German, die Mars Bestand. It means he's going to go to Mars. He's going to create a civilization in 50 years. Die Elon Cabinet. He's going to be in Parliament. Oh my God, I didn't know that. Dem Elon und seinem Kabinett aber stand ein Parlament.
Stop repeating affirmations to manifest. Stop journaling and stop listening to YouTube videos. It's not going to work. To manifest true abundance, you have to unlock the correct frequency inside your brain. Anything else is wasting time, and if you give me a few seconds, I can explain. What if the reason you can't manifest abundance is nothing to do with your affirmations? Listen, the hard truth is that you probably won't get anywhere by watching videos on here trying to change things or learn techniques and methods. This strange new discovery can show you the one
Parlament gegenüber. That means he's going to be put into Parliament. I didn't read that till now. So that's quite that's quite funny. It's gonna read more of it. Anyway, for a cabinet. Yeah, he's gonna be quite high up in the cabinet down below. He's gonna be Rufingen auf Historiker, Kirchenführer. He's gonna, do you know what he's like? He's like Tony Stark from X-Men.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's a very, he looks like Tony Stark. Anyone who doesn't know the Tony Stark character from the Iron Man, he does. He has that Tony Stark look, doesn't he?
He was on stage, right? He looked really uncomfortable. right? And he was on stage and he came up to the podium and he went like this, and it because he's quite short, he's not that tall, but he looked like he reminded me of Tony Stark, and I was like, wow, he's trying to be Tony Stark. But he's the Rise Above show last night. Had a really good meme of, I think it's
someone actually just, sorry to interrupt you, Rob.
Yeah,
someone just sent this over.
Yeah, but
shout out to Highlander who sent this. This was the film Thank You for Smoking, right? From I don't know, was it like back in 2005? I think it's actually a very good film. Aaron Eckhart about the tobacco lobbying. What's the word? The tobacco lobbying industry. And just watch this. This is incredible. Just watch this. Elon Musk movie cameo. Watch this.
Thank you, sir.
Look at that. Look, let's go back. Elon Musk is the pilot in that film.
Yeah.
Look.
Actor. Wow.
There he is there.
Oh, yeah. I see him here.
What do you think about that? I mean,
same as Trump. You know, Trump's got a big IMDb profile. He's quite big on IMDb because he's been to so many things.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I love the UNN family. Like, as I say, I'm the lucky one because I just come here and other people like do the research. What an incredible spot. There's Musk there. So what, is he an actor? Yeah, Trump's in Home Alone 2 as well. I mean, that really is incredible when you see that.
There was a meme on the Rise Above show last night, right? And it was Lord of the Rings. I don't know which, I think one of the first movies. Or one of the, yeah. Anyway, but it was the king. You know when the king's got a spell on him and his little sidekick assistant, like Blackadder, he's whispering in his ear and it looks like Elon and he's got greasy hair. And it's like Elon's like that with Trump a little bit because he's got a lot of power, Elon. Probably more power than Trump. Anyway, should we continue? We'll go on. Oh, I didn't put it in. You know, actually, it was on the David Knight show. I saw it. Some billionaires are planning to build an Elysium. You know Elysium? Mm-hmm. I had the slide in here before, but I took it out because there was too many slides. But yeah, that was quite interesting. And they're talking about people living up there. Yeah.
Right, next slide, please. Next slide, please. I'm going full.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So these are the fires, LA. We all know. We won't stay too long on it. The photo on the bottom left is very interesting, where the trees are all still standing, and again, all the buildings are gone. I think everybody's seen the Smart LA 2028. It's pretty obvious. If you see a city be nominated to be a smart city, then I'd say move pretty quickly. This is very interesting. John Goodman. No, it's a blue bin and the burnt tree.
Yeah, that blue bin didn't burn. The same with the blue roofs in Maui.
Yeah. So that's quite interesting. Yeah, he's not commented yet about it, but interesting, isn't it? Again, just looking briefly at Maui. That's Oprah Winfrey's blue roof. And there's a picture of the devastation in Maui. And the next one is also going to continue with Maui again. Last one. And so, do you know about the yellow? Do you know about the children on Maui? Because nobody talks about this. Everybody, hardly anybody knows about Maui. Not us lot, but the general public have no clue about Maui. When it happened, they cut all the internet off. They kept it only on the island. They couldn't get anything off the island. But there was about 800 to 1,000 kids went missing. It was in the morning it happened, I think. It started. All the parents were at work and the kids were at school. And all the kids got, Tony's commenting on the chat. All the kids they were missing, but there was a guy, right, the photo on the very right, you can see all the yellow school buses lined up. That's a video from BitChute. Type it in on BitChute, you'll find it. That's the guy walking up to the fence and finding the school buses at the military base on Hawaii. Nobody talks about it. And there was, the top middle photo, learn about adopting a teen, find your Shazamily. That was a billboard on Maui, like child trafficking. That's what it looks like. That's the mayor.
Yeah,
in the-
Shug, very good point as well. Like, remember Acapulco? Remember the storms in
Yeah,
Acapulco?
again,
Everyone just forgot about it.
That hurricane went through Acapulco, over the land, back into the sea, turned around and came back. And it only appeared because Jeff Bowick was onto it. He noticed it 4 hours before it hit. And he warned everybody, and everybody was like, "You're crazy, man. What are you talking about? The weather's fine." But it came in so quickly out of nowhere. And it's like the fires in LA, even like the fires in LA. It's the wind that spreads them, and they control the weather. We all know that. It's obvious. It's so obvious. Bottom left photo is a car from New South Wales. The photo next to it, adjacent to it, is a car from Maui. The alloy wheels are both melted. Haven't seen any alloy wheel melting yet in LA, but it's pretty early. And I think it takes like 3,200 degrees to melt an alloy wheel. I don't think a forest fire gets that hot, especially on a road. Do you know what I mean? And the middle photo in the bottom is a BBC article. And guess what number's on the helmet? That number again.
Yeah, I saw that 33. I know.
33.
Did he have a star patch as well on it, or no? It was the number 33, wasn't it?
It's a calling card. It's a calling card. That's how you know who the stone builders were involved with that one. I would say.
Yeah.
And you see it everywhere. It's nuts.
Research. You see your stuff, Rob. You know your stuff,
Yeah.
buddy.
So we'll carry on because we have got a bit to go through. This is very interesting, right? We're going to continue this thread with fires. And like I said before, I put together a list, right? So bear in mind, there's been maybe hundreds of great fires that burned down cities in our history. I'm going to show you this in a minute. This is from, I think it's Wikipedia. Well, we know what Wikipedia is like, but it's factual. So these are the Zeppelins, the emblems. They're quite in trend at the moment, and they're really interesting because these were developed before World War One. Before World War One. Around the late 19th century, right? And we're gonna I found something because there were so many fires towards the end of the 19th century.
There is the theory that the Zeppelins were clearly incredible pieces of technology that could easily get people. That it was a bomb that exploded the Hindenburg because, of course, certain groups of people weren't too happy with the current people running Germany in the 1930s. So it was a bomb that destroyed the Hindenburg. It wasn't the gas that exploded. They were absolutely perfectly safe, the Zeppelins, and it was a bomb.
You got to remember when these were around, like 1880, 1890, I think it was in the 1880s they started building them. And there were no passports back then. A very cheap way to travel. They had dance floors on them. Because not all of the blimp is helium. There's huge compartments, huge dance halls and stuff like that in them.
You're doing manifestation wrong. I see so many people getting this wrong. They try and change their life. They try and manifest abundance.
Amazing technology, and there's actually a company just started making them again now. They just started making them again now. It's quite interesting. Helium. There's huge compartments, huge dance halls and stuff like that in them. It's amazing technology. And there's actually a company just started making them again now. They just started making them again now. It's quite interesting. But that's a photo on the left. I think it's Yarmouth, 1913, 19th of January. Calais in the middle, 1915 again. World War One, and I can't zoom in, but yes, they're really interesting subject, and you can see the old world building there on the left. You can see my mouse pointer, I think, but yeah, really interesting. And I wonder which group of people had these, which group of people were in control of these back then. Do you know what I mean? It's really interesting. So we will continue. This is where we're going to get started with the fires now. This is the evidential evidence. I'll read it. The prime suspect in destruction of the Library of Alexandria is Julius Caesar. It is alleged that during Caesar's occupation of the city of Alexandria In 48 BCE, he found himself in the royal palace, hemmed in by the Egyptian fleet in the harbor. For his own safety, he had his men set fire to the Egyptian ships, but the fire got out of control and spread to the parts of the city nearest the shore, which included warehouses, depots, and some arsenals. So, yeah, it's interesting. But the reason I put that little photo in there is because I think this group of people were involved. They often, like, when we talk about Julius Caesar, who was he? What sort of guy was he? We only go off what we can find from the mainstream, and it's like, yeah, it's crazy. But we're not going to spend long on these fires because there's so many. I can't talk about them all, but there's so many.
Yeah, there's
right?
loads of them.
I'll just flick through them. Right, I'll flick through them just slowly, like randomly, and we can have a look at them. 1677, going through into the 18th century, the 1700s. There's loads. 1800s was very, very busy. Where the 1800s were the busiest century for fires. Let's just go back actually to the Great Fire of London. So if I missed that one, down at the bottom right there, Great Fire of London, 1666. I've actually not got the text for that in there, but I just missed it. But I was a bit spurgy doing this like you, David, and you get a bit nervous.
But what if people were to say again, this is just confirmation bias? Fires used to happen all the time, Rob. You know, you're just reading into it too deeply.
We can just look through it. You know, no, I know what you mean. But these are all great fires. Like I say, I guess there was an argument to say we do have a lot more better technology now. Well, we do and we don't. Depends what you believe in the history. But I guess we don't have as many live fires around everywhere, you know. But like I said before, let me just go forward. How many fires have you seen in your life? How many normal houses have you ever seen burning? I think I've seen one or two in my whole life.
Yeah,
but it's really interesting. So many cities destroyed, so much knowledge destroyed as well. Anybody can screenshot this as well. Great Fire of Hamburg. There was one in Glasgow as well. So Great Fire of Glasgow and Edinburgh. There's a couple of Edinburgh. Yeah, because you see all the buildings are black, aren't they, in Edinburgh?
Mm-hmm.
But going through
loads
the
of them.
late
Fires all the time. It's incredible. Look at them all.
Mate, we're not even halfway yet. Watch. It's crazy. This is when this part now I'm showing you now is when the Zeppelins were around. And there were a lot of big cities destroyed. Shanghai. And these Zeppelins, these blimps, the airships, they could travel continent to continent if the weather was right. They were amazing bits of kit. I think they worked off diesel, I think. They did have a diesel propeller engine. But fantastic bits of kit. All these great fires, Great Baltimore Fire, Second Great Fire of Toronto, Jacksonville Fire, San Francisco earthquake and fire. That was a big one, wasn't it? 1906.
Yeah, that was a huge. Was that the earthquake in south of San Francisco?
That I think. Yeah, that was a big one. That one, I'm sure that was a big one. But Lake Charles Fire, Great Fire of 19. Interesting date. Great Fire of 1911. Yeah, so we'll keep going. Paris, Texas, these are America. Burning of Cork Island, Tulsa, Ontario, all America, New Zealand, couple. Anyway, I'm not saying these were all. Oh, the Second Great Fire of London, 1940, World War II.
Garbage. Yeah, I mean, again, so many lies about the Blitz in World War II. There was a suggestion that it was the RAF was dropping these bombs to arouse public anger, and also they say that much of the destruction was. I mean, clearly, look, you can say the Germans were to blame because they were attacking London, just like you can say the Russians are to blame for launching their attacks on Ukraine. But what clearly happens is that anti-aircraft artillery shells were being fired right up into the sky to try and hit the planes, and then they were falling down and hitting a lot of these buildings and causing a lot of the damage.
Same with look at some of the figures there. Hamburg, 1943, 45,000.
that was bad.
That-
And also the
could-
Dresden, Dresden, the burning of Dresden was terrible.
Could you imagine that now? That's well, God, actually, that's not much in regards to what's happening in the Middle East, is it? But yeah, Dresden, 30,000. Anyway, we'll keep going. Yeah, just so many fires. These are later dates. You got 9/11 there also. Canberra bushfires. Because see, when you actually search for this, it's quite hard to find. All that was coming up was wildfires all the time, and they were all modern. That's the narrative. That's what I was finding when I was researching it. So, yeah, 2010. More still. So many events, so many fires. You got to wonder how many of these were started. I'm not saying that all. Yeah, there's been some arsonists arrested in LA, isn't there? There's been a few arrested.
Yeah. Probably some passports found with Iranian passports found as well.
Yeah. So it's interesting. But it's like I said before, this LA thing is terrible for sure. But there's going to be a lot of this going forward. There's definitely been an escalation since New Year, Christmas. I think there's definitely been an escalation. So yeah, coincidence? Not sure. I'm not far right. I'm just right so far. Yeah, you should send that to Queer Starmer. Anyway, Club of Rome, 10 Kingdoms again. We're gonna look now at the 10 Kingdoms of the Antichrist, and it's quite interesting. I think there's three figures for me. The Antichrist apparently has already been born. Not recently, but it's either Elon, Trump, or Charlie Boy. That's what I think. I'm not sure which one. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean the Bible clearly says whoever is the Antichrist will be welcomed, that people will love them, that they will be, a man that many follow and love and charismatic. So again, there's a lot of candidates out there, isn't there? I mean, I don't think it would be Charles because not very many people like him, but clearly there are a lot of people who love Trump and a lot of people who really love Elon Musk as well.
You know when Charles was anointed at the coronation, and he was under the screen when you couldn't see it,
hidden away.
Yeah, the oil that was used to anoint him was taken. I think.
If you can't manifest abundance, there are three simple reasons why not. So what's interesting is that the ancient cultures around the world.
It's the oils from a tree from Mount Sinai. It's interesting.
Amazing.
Interesting. I wonder if do you know this as well? This is, I think, it's true. You know, Camilla, she is. I've got a video. I'm still on YouTube, but my channel's so stagnant at the moment. They keep taking subscribers off. But I am going to do a royal episode probably in the next week or two. I've got a lot of really good information about I call it military cosplay a lot of the time, and the amount of outfits Charles wears. He's in the army in the middle. I've got my mouse here. He's got the army. He's got
the diamond. I know. I mean the medals. That's such an insult to anyone that served this country. They get that wee badge, and this guy's going around with all these medals. I mean, he's never fought in a war, and he's never raised a gun. And again, this is the other thing about wearing those medals. Once upon a time, a king literally used to lead his men into battle. The king was there. In many situations, the king would die.
Why doesn't Charles now follow in his footsteps of the Crusades now? And don't go there to attack, go there to make peace in Gaza, in Syria, etc., etc. Instead, they work with America to blitz the place. It's absolutely crazy.
And again, with Charles had previously called out the Israel lobby. He'd spoken about it, and he had spoken about the horrific things that were being done there. And again, nothing, just total silence.
It's mad. It's mad. Yeah, I find it funny. I think it's my channel's for entertainment purposes. But all the outfits he wears, and his relation to the Draculian bloodline, And the thing is, also, this is the thing about Charles, and well, not just about Charles, but the Antichrist has to unite all three religions: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And Charles, do you remember when Charles went to, I think it was Saudi Arabia, maybe a year ago, and all of them did that sword dance around him? Do you remember the sword dance?
Yeah.
He was on a dance floor. That sword dance isn't given to just anybody. It's only really given to kings and people of a really high, echelon. But it's just interesting, and he claims to have Jewish descent as well, and it's.
Well, he also claims to be descended from Vlad the Impaler, and
Dracula.
Dracula, who again I'm not sure is actually the worst person in the world when you actually look at it. I thought there was a lot of lies said about him. He was he was involved in the Crusades, basically, in the Balkans, Vlad the Impaler. But yeah, a lot of people kind of underestimate the influence of the royal family. A lot of people still think that that he is an insignificant figure. That's just not true. The British royal family exerts huge power. The vast majority of people that come and visit London do so because they want to go to Buckingham Palace or they want to see where the royals live, and they carry huge I guarantee. I mean, what would the name recognition of Charles be around the world? I mean, I'm guessing, but I would imagine a vast majority of people would know who the king of this country was.
Yeah, that's in the photo in the middle is interesting because this is his name's I think it's Mauricio Benito or something like that. He's a Brazilian sculptor. He's been in several. He's very well known. He's in the top 100 sculptors in the world back in the 90s. So all he can find is a couple of articles saying that he wrote to the royals with a little design. He sent them a little design of the photo I'm talking about. This is the statue of Charles with wings, standing on a hill of what looks like skulls. And it's a really interesting article because the sculptor died the same year that the article was published in 2003. And that's it. You can't really find it.
And one of someone in the chat as well, Rob, makes a great point. Not saying anything about Canada. Charles is the king of Canada.
Yeah.
And you've now got a foreign nation threatening to either annex, and he has not ruled out a military annexation. And Charles has got nothing to say about it. Isn't that amazing?
Crazy.
Wow.
That statue is apparently the original that was built in the Amazon is apparently 13 feet tall. I'd love to know where it was built because I can't really find any more information on it. People can have a dig into it because it's really interesting. Debbie Evans talks about it.
Can I just say this presentation is really brilliant, and the amount of time that Rob puts into this, and Rob doesn't make any money from this at all. Rob does this because he cares about the truth. I mean, it's amazing.
It's not about money for me. It never has been. This is I wanted to change it. Look, if people like what I do, come follow my YouTube channel. Follow my Twitter. I think I sent you the links earlier, but follow my YouTube channel because they're just shadow banning it so much, and it's getting frustrating. I want to help change the world, and I'm passionate about it, and I speak from the heart, and I'm honest, and I'm very direct, and I say it how it is. So if you want to support me, just come watch my show.
In the chat there, Rob.
Give it a show. Give it a share. Sorry, but yeah. So I was going to say something else, but I just
next slide, please. Next slide, please.
Yeah. There we go. This is just a little meme. 10 Kings of Revelation, the Great Tribulation. So I think we're in tribulation now. This is before the what's it? I can't remember the next one. But we're talking about Revelation. This 10 kingdoms of the Antichrist does come from biblical scripture. And they talk about kings will be literal rulers who will rise to power in the last days, forming an alliance with the Antichrist. Also, when these 10 kings will be here, I think before the Antichrist, but 3 of them will die when the Antichrist is created or announced. It says in Scripture. So again, it's interesting trying to link up what the Club of Rome are doing with this biblical scripture that's there. It's evidential, and it's crazy. But yeah, if you do want to follow me on Twitter, it's at esoteric.
I'm just getting the links, Rob. Give me 2 seconds. I'm just sending them over to Telegram,
Yeah.
so I'll stick them in.
Yeah.
There's the X link.
Yeah, I've got a few shows on my channel about the Hunger Games as well. I do some, like, I play some good music and stuff like that. It's quite an upbeat show I do quite often. It's good to watch on a Friday, Saturday night or something. So yeah, I'll just read out on the right. Really, I love that picture of the Antichrist on a horse. The 10 kings arise before the Antichrist, but 3 of them are killed by the Antichrist's death and resurrection during the middle of tribulation. That's why I think we're in tribulation now. Antichrist. I only started putting this presentation together Thursday afternoon, a day and a half ago. But I do like doing these. This is what I used to do on Twitter. I had 12,500 followers, and they suspended me, no reason. I just appealed it 2 weeks ago. Again, second time I appealed it, they just denied it. So anyway, but the Antichrist rules the world alone after the death and resurrection, with the remaining 7 kings giving them their power to him. Here's some more information about 10 kingdoms and the Antichrist. Revelation 17:12. The 10 horns are described as 10 kings who will receive authority as kings for 1 hour, along with the beast. Just some little scripture there, but the only books in the Bible that mention the Antichrist are John's letters, which say that there are many Antichrists in the world. That's the thing. That's the thing about looking at biblical stuff. I mean, it's problematic looking at all this stuff because there's so much falsehoods within the truth. So we're just going to talk about Gaza. That was New Year's Eve. Palestine, they were killing kids on New Year's Eve, and we look at fireworks and they get bombs. You know the Israel flag. You know the two blue lines on it. One's supposed to be the River Nile,
and the other's the Euphrates. That's the greater Israel, isn't it?
I thought that was fascinating. I didn't know that till today.
Yeah, that's the 2 rivers. That's why they get so triggered about they go on about from the river to the sea, blah, blah. Well, that's actually the 2 rivers. That's the Nile to the Euphrates. But they're actually wanting to, the greater Israel would expand even further into Egypt. But that's it. The Nile to the Euphrates is the vision of the greater Israel project.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, this greater Israel project, personally, we can look at all this stuff. But I don't think they're not going to get away with it. They are destroying themselves. And there's I watched have you watched Crow 777 on YouTube?
No.
You'd like that. I'll send you a link to it. Last night's live stream, right? They were talking about, people see 2 suns in the sky sometimes. I've seen plenty of photos of it. And scientists and academics are now accepting that now what they're saying is, our sun must have a binary sun, but we don't have one, but there should be one. And the knowledge that Crow's come up with, he's got a mega telescope and he zoomed right in on the sun and see the photos. Crazy, absolutely detailed, really, really interesting. But this binary sun, it's like what's happening now. Like what they're doing with their plans. They're trying to lock everybody down before 2030, 2040. They're trying to put everybody in chains. Statue of Liberty, chain it all up, slave them up. Because I think that, so does Crow as well, that our sun is changing and it's going more pale, and that's increasing our consciousness. Even the last couple of my friends, when you have syncs with people, you look at your phone and somebody messages you, I just thought of you. Stuff like that. A lot of that's happening recently, and it's really interesting. But anyway, we'll continue. But it's fascinating. It is a fascinating time to be alive. This is quite not controversial, but Based Amy won't like it. But this is the definition of jihad, and they've twisted it. I'll go to the middle text in the top. Jihad in Islam. A militia meritorious
Meritorious.
struggle. Yeah, sorry, meritorious struggle or effort. The exact meaning of the term jihad depends on context, and this is the problem. This is what they do.
That's right. I mean, like, as jihad
It's a
basically
spiritual
means struggle.
journey.
It's a spiritual journey in a struggle, and that's the thing. I always say this. Look, I'm not a Muslim. I'm not a huge fan of Islam. I think Islam is not compatible in Europe. It's very different. Clearly, there has been attempts from Islamic conquest of Europe that have been repelled, but at least just be honest about it. Like, if you don't like it, just don't make shit up just to suit your narrative. Like, if you're going to call them out for what they do, but just don't lie. Like, clearly there's enough evidence there already.
I'm just looking at the chat, and I see Melissa, one of my viewers, is watching. Welcome, Melissa. They're seeds of Cain, right? And this is the Canaanite bloodline. I think Charles might be part of that as well. This Canaanite bloodline, the Canaanite bloodline's fascinating, and it's like the Khazars, like these Zionists, this very small mafia of people in regards to the population of the world, very, very small group of people, and they're very evil. Even, I mean, it's hard because when we talk about it, I don't say the J word much, and you can't really say Israel.
Yeah, I mean, again, I was thinking about this the other day. Look, clearly, right? And look, this is not a defense of Judaism, but previous to the Zionism was a strand of Judaism that previously that they didn't do. Like, most Jews kept to themselves. They lived their own lives, yet clearly some of them got up to some naughtiness, etc., over the years, and we all know that. But with the founding of Zionism was very much, look, we're going to go out into the world. We're going to take over. We're going to build our own country. And a lot of people within the wider Jewish community were actually opposed to it, and they still remain opposed to it. Now, you could say that their motives for being opposed to it are not righteous, and it's about something else. But it is a very specific strain of wider Judaism, and Zionism. Like that's why I always, if I'm criticizing someone, I will call them a Jewish Zionist, because Zionism is a very specific thing that previously wasn't real. It is a bit like saying someone is a so-and-so communist, because look, I regard people's background and where they're from as real, but then if people attach an ideology to that, then clearly it has an impact on how they behave. It's like, we have white people who are communists. We have white people who are internationalists, etc. And it does play an impact on how you think, because then you suit your view of the world to that ideology. Whereas, again, what I disagree with though is people say, well, it's ideology first. That's not really how it works. You know, people are who they are, and then people then adopt an ideology.
Yeah, I'm just come back to the comment about the seeds of Cain, the serpent seed, and I'm pretty sure Charles is I can't remember actually. It's been a while since I talked about it, but the seeds of Cain, I think that does link to the Judaites, the original Jews of the Middle East way back when, but they weren't the Israelites, and this whole claim to this Greater Israel project this is why I included the next few slides in this, and I've never seen anybody present this before. It's really interesting. Have you heard of the Tengu people before? Tengu. No. Right, this is what we're going to go into, because there's a lot of links to the Tengu to Judaism. It's very interesting through the religion. But anyway, so we'll continue. These are just a quick meme, quick old. It's an old painting, I think, or something. But you see that from the 15th century or something. But you see the bazooka, the fire weapon. The guy on where my mouse is now. That's just funny. Again, it's a bit random, but it's interesting, like history.
Well, the other thing was that the Byzantines had Greek fire, which was an incredible weapon that they lost the ability to use, because when Muhammad and the Muslim armies tried to take Byzantium, they basically just went out and they torched their entire fleet with Greek fire, and then they lost their ability to create it.
I'm not defending Islam. Somebody just in the comment in the chats. Religion is a cause of a lot of death in the world. All religions are. Not all. I'm not defending any religion really in this presentation. So we will continue, and this is kind of the final part of the presentation. So the origin of the Japanese Tengu. The Tengu apparently they arrived in Japan in the 11th century. These people lived in the mountains. They had huge noses, and they wear. Do you know? I've forgotten to put a slide in the show. Actually, the Tefillin, Jews with the black box on, and they put a black strap around their arm. They look a bit crazy when they do it. They're supposed to do it every day, but these Japanese Tengu people, they have a lot of similarities between as Zionists. There's a lot of, if you search for Japan and Zionism or Judaism, a lot of weird things come up. So since ancient times, many legends surround the Tengu. Its true origin remains a mystery. The creature is believed to have roots in Chinese folktale introduced into Japan. The name Tengu is derived from Tiangu, a mountain-dwelling yokai with dog-like appearance. Tiangu, often associated with a meteorite, fell from the sky like a shooting star, like the Ben stone. The Ben stone is very interesting. They don't know what type of rock it is, and it's got a specific power. This little pyramid in the Egyptian museum in Cairo. But like I said before, there's been an infection in our world, I think, and what I'm going to show you the next few slides is it links to what's happening with these people in Israel. It links massively to it. This creature fell from the sky like a shooting star, accompanied by a rumbling sound. The creature is linked to the concept of the black dog. Think of Anubis, or the meteorite causing eclipses. So we'll continue. They've got tricks to nature. Despite their protective tendencies, Tengu are also known for their trickery. They may play pranks on people who walk into the territory. Some more information there. They're like hybrids. But if these things mated with humans, the nose would gradually get smaller and stuff like that. It's a bit. I might be reaching with this, but we'll continue. Similar temples. So the Shinto temples in Japan are pretty much identical. So much of Shinto religion is the same. It's the exact same. I couldn't put any more slides in this show because I didn't want it to be too long. But there's a massive link between, even Japanese people talk about it. They don't like.
Yeah, I know absolutely nothing about Shinto, so this is really interesting.
It's interesting because Japanese don't like, and there's only a couple hundred families live in Japan that are Jewish. I've only just started looking into this the last day or so, but I just thought it was interesting. Shinto temples and the Jewish temples not only share architectural similarities, but also similar dimensions. Both had a holy and holy of holies. In Shinto temples, there are even steps leading from the holy of holies, holy to the holy of holies, which is located slightly higher, just as it was in Solomon's temple. Neither temples contain idols within them, even though most Eastern shrines do have idols. Shinto shrines do not. And you can see from the diagram they're quite similar. This is the Tefillin, right? So the guy that's Bob Dylan, top right photo, 1990. Even though he did the video a few years ago, and that's an Israeli soldier practicing some whatever he's doing in the Jewish movement. But the Tengu wear this black box on their forehead as well. And honestly, if you search for it, it's fascinating. It is. I could have put 10 more slides about this in it, but anyway, the Shinto also have a ritual that resembles an element of the Jewish holiday of Sukkot. Just as Jews wave the lulav branch, Shinto priests wave sakaki evergreen branches. Often prior to waving, they dip them in salt water and wave them in front of people in order to purify them from sin and uncleanliness. Compare this to the practice of the Jewish priests who would dip the branches of the hyssop tree into the red heifer compound and sprinkle unclean Jews with it in order to purify them. There's just a lot of similarities. I only put a couple of slides in this presentation about it, but it's interesting. I think that's it. This is the last one. Yeah, I'm not going to read all that out because my voice is going a little bit. So yeah, but it's. What do you think about it all though? I think it might be random. It's interesting.
Yeah,
But,
yeah,
yeah.
it is interesting. And again, the link of, as you say, the notion that people came from out and high and mated with humans.
The hybrid age was the thing. The days of Noah, even when the sky was more red, everything was bigger. The days of Noah, this is what they're almost trying to do now. You know, like Portland Down in 2018, they tested. They didn't test. Sorry, they made 100 humanzees. They're crazy. The stuff we pay for through our tax contribution. Tax is illegal. It's theft, but the stuff that they develop with our money, like Tomorrowland, I talk about a lot. Like you know, I think our that's it. Finished. I'll close the
next slide.
That's it, mate. That's
30, okay.
I did it random. I had like 22 slides, right? And I did all the history of the fires, filled it all up, and I looked at how many slides there was.
How many slides? Don't say it. 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 I know what someone will say about it.
Yeah. So, but yeah,
don't say that number. Don't say that number.
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, it's interesting. I do find all this stuff interesting. I think a lot of history is a lie. I think we live on a much bigger Earth. I think whatever, but it's good.
Yeah, no, that's it's brilliant stuff, Rob, and it is just about these. What are they preparing? What are they pushing for? And clearly, with this call for a North American Union, which is an intrinsic part of the New World Order plan, and everyone's just, oh, okay, like that, and it is this question that, well, why is it that people who have been calling that out, like, again, this is like, I was pointing this out about Ivor Kaplan, like he's being a Jewish Zionist. Like, if you're gonna make a big deal about Muslims involved in child rape, you should make a big deal about that. Likewise, if a Catholic priest was doing it, or an Anglican priest, it is the fact that people have these blind spots. And that's what really, really annoys me, because look, we talk about everything at UNN. We bring it all out into the open. And why is it that people are not talking about this plan? And then, I mean, they'll go mental about further EU integration. They'll go mental about that. And they have this blind spot. And again, with the Greater Israel Project, no one wants to, they don't talk about it.
It's like the money, like Lamy just pledged $3 billion to Ukraine every year, and Biden just before. When does Trump come in? It must be very soon.
20th of January is
20th,
the inauguration.
Right. So
UNN will be covering it live.
Just let me I'll finish that point about Biden just sent another 500 million. Like that, just a bit more for Zelensky, you know, for the big guy. I haven't had a Zelensky impression for a while, David. You must do more of them. Tip David, come on, tip him. He'll do the impressions if you tip him.
I have to be in the mood. I have to be in the mood for it.
But it's crazy. Like all the fog. You like these fires in LA. Like the week before the fires, the fog was there. So what was that fog? There's like incendiary dust. They can spray stuff. Maybe there was stuff in the fog and it settled. And we don't know. I don't know enough about the fires, how they started. I'm not going to speculate on it. But what we're like, this year is going to be wild, and you can see what they're doing with the climate.
Huge. Someone, where was this? Let me just actually try and find that email someone sent me about. And I was actually talking about this, the numerology around the year 2025. Let me hear it as my good friend Eva sent this over. 2025, add that up, 2 plus 2 plus 5 adds up to 9, which is the number of completion, while 2024 equals 8, a form of cleansing. So that's quite interesting. 9 is the number of completion. And I just think as well, symbolically, the number 2025 as well is...
It's a quarter of a century.
A quarter of a century, isn't it? But I think I still think I haven't cracked it yet. I think there is something about the number 2025 which just makes it so significant.
It's interesting. It's like I think because whatever they could do, they can't get away with another COVID. Everybody's, but the more they push, like LA, like look, right, Maui happened. I explained before. There's wild evidence, alloy wheels melting, boats on fire at anchor. Do you know what I mean? Like mad in the sea. But what they've done to LA, they're not going to get away with LA. It's too big a city. They've gone too crazy with it. But it's it's going to be wild. It's going to be wild this year. It is.
Yeah, I think there is a lot of overplaying of hands, and never doubt that when you have hubris, that it can come back and bite you in the backside. That if you do get too arrogant, if you do get too proud, and usually, I talk about the George Best analogy when Georgie Best was in the hotel room. He's got, I can't remember who it was. He's got the supermodel with him, money all over the bed, and the room service guy comes in and says, "Where did it all go wrong, George?" You would think that's him at the height of the power, but actually it marks the beginning of the end. And usually when people are at their peak, it's all the way down from there.
It's like Bibi Netanyahu. He doesn't want the war to end because as soon as the war ends, he's going to get jailed. He's going to go. Well, he's got a lot of arrests. I think even in Israel, they've got questions. He's not. Yeah, he's not liked. It's just crazy. Like what's going on? And like it's 2025.
Are you heading off?
Remember 2020. So we're 5 years.
5 years ago, now. COVID. Yeah, that was the first shot, wasn't it? There's been a lot of talk about that. I saw this on the news today. Today was the first day someone supposedly died of the new COVID variant. They were talking about that, the 5-year anniversary of it.
It's like Chris Whitty, Jonathan Van Tam, Matt Hancock. All these people, how do they get away with it with karma or whatever? I don't know. It's like, Graham Moore talks about the dark personalities. And this is like this, it's like this dark bloodline, this psychopaths, Machiavellians, sociopaths, sadists. So they're Satanists. And especially the group of people we talk about that originate from Israel. That's why I want to know where they come from. That's why I thought that the Tengu thing was quite interesting, because there's way more information in it. And there's so many more similarities between Judaism and
Shintoism, yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah.
It's interesting as well. I won't disclose where I was, but I was away somewhere today, and I love history. I love castles. And when you actually look at that history, people just aren't interested in history just now. They just don't care. They don't care about origins. They don't care where people came from. They've got no interest in the past. I mean, I just love all that stuff, like the modern wonders of the world. I was watching an interesting video about that and was actually saying that the Colossus of Rhodes apparently wasn't as impressive as it may have been. But still, to think these things were existing, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, as you point out, the lighthouse at Alexandria, the library at Alexandria. I mean, again, look at Alexandria now. Alexandria was an incredible city of knowledge, of wealth, of architecture, of engineering, and now it's a shithole.
It's
and nothing there now.
Yeah, it's like just a comment about like our country. Like I go to the beach a lot just to sit and look at the sea, and the amount of foreigners I see recently in the last like 3 months. I've not been on for a while, but the amount of foreigners I see. I saw 4 or 5 Chinese.
It's real. It's real. I mean, the great replacement's real. I mean, you can't deny it. You're denying your eyes if you deny it.
Yeah, you can see it clearly, the increase, the speed. Yeah, it's sad for Britain, and not for Britain, for
It is.
England.
It is. I mean, that like again, I was talking about this the other day. Look, I'm not saying it was perfect, but back in the 1980s, 90s, you had one Indian, you had one Chinese takeaway, you had small amounts of immigration. Clearly, there was not the problems. Whereas now, you have got tens of millions of foreigners and people from totally different backgrounds, totally different, and it's the speed with which it's been done, and clearly it is going to be a different country, no matter what anybody says about it, and all the history will be gone. And again, if you look back on the history of, say, Scotland or England, for years that was the same thing, and then bang, they're altering it. And I mean, look, again, there's bigger theories as to that, but I do think there are a lot of people out there, a lot of politicians who are just literal opportunists. They don't care. Like, again, like even with Boris Johnson said that the main reason that he opened the borders and allowed millions of people in was because he was worried that inflation would go out of control. And because after the lockdowns, people didn't want to work. Well, this is what they say, that our people were demanding more money or working from home. So they just basically had to flood the country with 2.5 million workers. And I like sometimes there is just no thinking. Boris was, well, I want to talk to the guys at the Financial Times. I'll do it. And that's the danger of having these people.
Dangerous. You know, interesting quote. It's by a famous guy. I can't remember who it's by, but a single person telling the truth can end tyranny. That's true. So true. Somebody stand up, do something. You know,
brilliant, Rob. Crazy. Absolutely fantastic, great presentation. When's the boat? When's it getting back out to sea again?
Yeah, soon. It's weird because, like, see when the weather's nice, I do enjoy my little life. Like, it's nice, like cruising around here and working on the boat, but when the weather's bad, I don't like it here. I just, it's grim. It's pretty grim. So yeah, I'll be going soon. I'm not going to say when, but I will be going pretty soon.
You'll be sailing
yeah, and I'm going to be going all over the place. So I'll be starting. Yeah. I'll start some other YouTube.
And this is the other thing is as well. Yellow, thanks very much again for the Ninja Guinea. Is this? Believe it or not, I actually have respect for other civilizations, for other cultures. I am massively interested in the history of the Middle East, of places like Syria, Jordan, Iraq. I'm also interested. I mean, not that I've been, but I'm interested. But what I want is for those civilizations to remain there, because again, that was how it was, and it was designed that way. And like, I mean, I do say this to people: don't just like, and this isn't me being a cuck or anything like that, but like the reason it's wrong is because it is an imbalance that is being created. Multiculturalism, the forcing of that, it doesn't work. Cultures are different. People are different. That's not to say it's a bad thing. And you can have much more respect for these other countries and their history, and again, incredible civilizations. But it doesn't mean that every single barbershop in Britain has to be owned by Syrians or Albanians. Do you know, like, that's the lunacy of it. And clearly, again, if you really boil it down to it, the ruling classes, certain groups, they want race wars. They want us fighting with each other. I mean, I don't believe we're all going to come together and all hold hands. It just doesn't work like that. But we need to recognize that the parasitic class, the capitalist classes, international capital, big business, come together and all hold hands. It just doesn't work like that. But we need to recognize that the parasitic class, the capitalist classes, international capital, big business, if you're not targeting them, like I said that during the disorder during the summer, they're happy that you're out protesting outside a local mosque. They wouldn't be happy if people were outside 10 Downing Street. They wouldn't be happy if people were outside the headquarters of BlackRock or Palantir or Vanguard, would they?
No, it's like, yeah, it's interesting. It's It's a crazy time to be alive, but it's very
It
interesting.
is.
It's like
It
I
is.
don't think it's the people in the gulags, the people in the gulag, the Siberian gulags from Russia, they wish that they'd done more after the Bolshevik Revolution. They wish they'd done
Yeah.
more. And just think about that. Like, I'm stepping up. I'm stepping up. I'm trying. Follow my YouTube. Follow my Rumble. Follow my
Yeah,
Twitter.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
keep podcasting.
Alexander Solzhenitsyn talks about that in the Gulag Archipelago. He said there was plenty more of us than there was jailers. He
Yeah.
said if we all got together, we could overthrow them, but we didn't. We just remained locked in ourselves, and you know that's very true. Is it's about these jailers. Rob, outstanding.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Good night.
See
Let's
you,
get
man.
some
Cheers.
R's in the chat, please. Some hard R's for Rob, and please go and give him a follow over there on YouTube as well. That is fantastic. That was a great presentation he did. Really deep dive, something a wee bit more different. Perhaps one might even say a bit more esoteric. So I hope you enjoy that. And again, you just cannot deny the breadth of topics we discuss on UNN, the depth of topics we look into, and the places we go. I know these shows last 2 hours. And genuinely a complaint that we get is, David, I don't have 2 hours to watch these shows. Can you clip them? Could you do it in a TikTok for like a minute? I cannot do it. That's why we are aware of what is going on in the world, because we dig and we investigate and we go right down to the source.
So, is this what you thought it would be?
Thought what would be? Where am I? Is this heaven?
No, it isn't heaven.
Is it hell?
No, it isn't hell either. Actually, there is no hell. Although I hear Los Angeles is getting pretty close. Well, Daniel, let me tell you what's going on. When you're born into this universe, you're in it for a long, long time. You have many different lifetimes. And after each lifetime, there's an examining period, which you're in now. You see, every second of every lifetime is always recorded. And as each one ends, we sort of look at it. Look at a few of the days, examine it. And then if everybody agrees, you move forward.
What do you mean move forward?
I mean move forward, continue onward. The point of this whole thing is to keep getting smarter, to keep growing, to use as much of your brain as possible. For example, I use 48% of my brain. You know how much you use?
47?
3.
I'm sorry?
3.
I use 3% of my brain?
Yes, don't worry about it. Everybody on Earth uses 3% of their brain. 3 to 5%. That's why they're there.
3? 3%? 3%? You mean nobody on Earth uses more than that?
When you use more than 5% of your brain, you don't want to be on Earth, believe me. Well, not that your takeout places aren't lovely, but there are many more exciting destinations for smarter people. Now, being from Earth as you are and using as little of your brain as you do, your life has pretty much been devoted to dealing with fear.
It has?
Well, everybody on Earth deals with fear. That's what little brains do.
What are little brains?
That's what we call you folks behind your back. Forgive me.
Who are you?
Well, I'm just like you. I was on Earth a long time ago. But I advanced. I moved forward. I got over my fears, and I got smarter. Did you have friends whose stomachs hurt?
Every one of them.
It's fear. Fear is like a giant fog. It sits on your brain and blocks everything. Real feelings, true happiness, real joy. They can't get through that fog. But you lift it, and buddy, you're in for the ride of your life.
God, my 3% is swimming. What are you reading?
You wouldn't understand this. It's just numbers.
You read numbers?
Yes, sir.
So I'm on trial for being afraid.
Well, first of all, I don't like to call it a trial. Second of all, yes.
Well, what if I'm guilty? What happens to me?
Don't think innocent or guilty. Worst comes to worst, you'll go back to Earth and you'll try it again.
Well, what do? You just keep going back until you get it right?
Well, you don't keep going back. Eventually, they'll throw you away.